next question comes from Martin Kulik. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's in response to the Death of the Kronos video, a video I did in December 2021. And Martin writes, I don't expect anything good from Korg. They chose a bad strategy to get rid of buttons and physical controllers and put as much as they can into a touchscreen. They forgot the PPL, I think it's people, by keyboards to touch physical buttons. Example of a good synth workstation is Roland Phantom. It's worth alone for its 16-step sequencer and other buttons for the sampler. Do you know what, Martin? That's a really good point, and I know that I definitely buy synthesizers because I like the tactile feel of a keyboard over a VST. I'm not sure I would agree completely with everything you're saying there, but the market would be a very small place if we all like the same thing. And this is kind of the point. I think the Phantom has some really great features and is becoming a very credible alternative to a Kronos or a Nautilus, if you were so inclined to go and buy the new machine. The Phantom, however, does things in a different way, and it's this workflow that I think you're referring to, and the fact that yes, it has got a lot of knobs and buttons on it. I kind of think that the Kronos didn't lose its way. The Kronos still had the right combination of faders, buttons, and touchscreen information, whereas what I've seen of the Nautilus is it's a much slimmer interface. So maybe you could be right on the Nautilus in saying that you have to dive into the touchscreen menus to do a lot more things that you might not have to do on the Phantom. But I think the market will tell. If the Phantom sells, then we will say that it's been a success. And the instigations are all these months further down the line, and the introduction of the Phantom O it is definitely selling. In fact, the Phantom O has put the Phantom construct in a different price bracket, and a lot of people are now seriously considering an 88 or 76 Phantom O, much lighter, much more portable, same functionality. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from Sean C. And this is in response to, but what do we know about the Behringer LMDrum? A video I did in June 2021. I had someone the other day actually said, well, I know no more than I did. And that's probably because this video was done in 2021, June 2021. And we're now in September 2022. And things haven't really moved on in that year. Anyway, Sean C writes, I'm interested in how Behringer are going to address certain workflow features of the original LM1 and the LINNDrum, mainly tuning and velocity, which were severely limited on the LM1 and LINNDrum. These parameters were limited to certain instruments which had dedicated knobs and pads. For example, the snare instrument playing a snare sample EEPROM has only 3 different velocities and tuning ability, whereas the kick instrument only has 2 velocities and no tuning. Cowbell instrument including neither velocity or tuning abilities, and now one could say who needs 3 velocities on the kick or anything on the cowbell, just more. But the LMDrum is an 8/12-bit sampler as well. How are these instruments' sample patterns limits going to be impacted on the usability of the new instrument? Based on this limitation alone, I could see someone replacing the MC909, MPC or SP1200, i.e. the S2400, with a LINNDrum as their primary groove box. Instead, I think the LMDrum sampling as simply burning new custom EEPROMs appropriate to the instrument selected. This allows you to import custom snare samples for example, a DMX snare over the LM1 snare or the 909 kick without tuning over the LINNDrum kick. There's some good points there. It's really interesting when you talk about reimagining an instrument. How close do we want to keep the reimagined instrument to the original? Do you want a new version, or do you want to depart and develop something new and improved? And it's always a fine balancing act between reimagination and improving and moving the platform forward. With Roland, when Roland brought the D05 to the market, they had two modes available on the D05. Mode 1 was faithfully recreating the sound of the original D50 it was modelled on. And Mode 2 cleaned up the inherent noise that the D50 put on the signal for a much cleaner sound. But when you are correct, the Linn instruments worked in a very specific way, and it will be interesting how Behringer captured the sounds of the instrument and how they ship those sounds with the bass instrument when it comes. Will they sample at lo-fi as it would have been done originally, because that's what the instrument was? It was a lo-fi sampler that burned its sounds to EPROMs. Or will they sample at hi-fi and then strip the sample out using filtering and editing techniques? Maybe there are going to be some notable users of the instrument and asking them if they can borrow, license their classic sounds. Now this is a really interesting area, you know, in terms of if there were users out there that had classic sounds. And I'm thinking specifically about Behringer when they bought the machine that they've used as the base machine for this LMDrum, which was the machine from Tears for Fears. They got all the Tears for Fears EPROMs with it. So, you know, is that going to be a sample pack? Are they going to go to other other classic LINNDrum users and ask them if they can sample their sample packs and release them on the machine? I suppose time will tell, and of course everything's been delayed because of the worldwide supply chain shortages and other issues. So I still look forward to this. Whether I'm going to buy one, don't know. But then I'm a sucker for drum machines.